Hello gamers and welcome to this new PA Titans video in this brand new concept series thingy where I will be reviewing games played by you guys. I will watch the replays and kind of try to coach you and see what you guys are doing, and in this part I'm kind of do things like me and now it's time to go for the replay. So here we are on this replay submitted by Wretch, a player who was a silver 41 at the time of this game, and he is playing against Zaits, which is a low platinum player, so this game will definitely be interesting. So this is the first episode of this new series, Educational Ranked. If you have any replays that you would want me to analyze, because for example you felt like you played a hard opponent that pushed you through the limits of your knowledge, or you had a rough game and you would want to have my point of view, feel free to submit them on the official Discord and make sure to join the replay ID. So yeah, definitely do not hesitate to submit me some replays. So jumping forward a little bit, we can see here that Wretch managed to get some very good rating onto Zaits on his first expansion side here. He didn't kill the Fabbers, but he definitely managed to push them back and delay their expansion, even managing to kill some metal with some successful bombing over here. Now, the only problem is he rallied both of his factories on the same side, which means this side will be exposed and vulnerable to attacks. Especially on small maps like this one, you never really wanna only attack on one side. Like, what you could do is have all your factories rallied to the same side and attack from the same angle, but then you only expand throughout this side, like having your first set of Fabbers go here to here, and having a second one go take this or this. But here, Wretch decided to expand on both sides. And another problem with this is you can see here big enemy forces is gonna come and there's nothing to defend from it. Another big issue here is coming from his build. He did bots air vehicle. Now the thing with vehicle is they are stronger than bots, but they take way more time to stack up a consequential amount of units. So whenever you get a vehicle factory, you have to wait a little bit for a substantial army to form before you can do anything, which is an issue for several reasons. The first one is that you will have less pressure on the map, because as I said, if you have both of your factories rallied the same side, you need to be able to pressure around the map from only this side. So if you, for example, do what Wretch does, which is deny this expansion, it's great, but then you have to keep pressuring him on the other metal he has grabbed. And with tanks, it would take ages to kind of circle around through this way or this way. And this problem doesn't occur with bots because they are really fast. If you manage here with Doxes only to deny this expansion, you can immediately rotate out and keep applying pressure on your enemy. These ants have successfully denied this side of the map, but they are now virtually useless, because if they keep pushing in, they will meet the commander, and if they want to keep applying pressure, they have to move either this way or, as I said, this way, which will leave enough time for Zaits to stack up new units that will be able to push them back. So that's the first issue with going early vehicle. Second issue is you never want to rally, as I said, both of your factories to the same side unless you're only expanding in that side, which is not the case here. So he should have rallied one of his factories to his first expansion, but the problem is, even if he did it, tank units, as I said, need time to stack up. So even if these tanks were heading this way, they wouldn't be enough to push back this force. So what you really want to do on this kind of map with a lot of proximity and a lot of early aggression You want to have bot air instead of bot air vehicle air. You could go for a vehicle proxy, but then maybe you could get like a single laser turret or just scout preemptively and adapt yourself. But what I would have done here is go bot air, have a bot factory here, because as opposed to vehicle, bots can defend really fast after the factory has finished. So this force would actually not have been an issue if this was a bot factory, and this as well, rallied to this side. This is gonna be a heavy loss for Wretch, which has arguably had a pretty good start, even though he's not really capitalizing on his successful raiding on this side of the map, because he only has 2 fabs splitting up to expand. So as you can see, Zaits is going to take down 1 radar and 2 metal extractors, as well as forcing out your commander, which is extremely bad because you're right now on your T2 timing, which means you should be rushing a T2 factory. In the meantime, Wretch lost a huge amount of units to Zaits' calm, which will now bring back to even this side of the map in terms of unit counts. Now, as you can see on the top left corner, both players are floating really hard, and you can probably see it on the game stats. Metal waste. Yeah, this is really bad, but it's probably a result of having to move your commander to defend. In fact, Wretch should not have moved his commander at all. As you can see, there were no AA on this swarm of doxes, and 1 bomber could have definitely defended this on his own. In the meantime, the macro on the strong side of Wretch is also pretty poor. You want to have like at least 2 to 3 fabs starting to build some defenses here. So by defense I mean T1 vehicle factories, a radar, super important. Radar are very important, instead of grabbing this useless metal that's probably gonna get destroyed pretty fast. Because if you on this kind of map with like only 2 lanes leading directly towards the opponent's base, everything kind of plays out around the T2 timing. Because if you have managed to secure a way to push, like imagine all these units didn't die to the calm and just kept on applying pressure around this area, not allowing Zaits to push back and to contest the center metal, while you just block him off on the other side so that he cannot himself even it out with the center metal. You then have a very strong lane which you can then simply push by securing this spot. You just have to have 3 to 4 slammers here, and they're basically at the entrance of Zaits' base. Unfortunately, because Wretch did some pretty poor expansion decision and didn't send new fabbers to keep securing this place, as well as losing all these units, he now threw his biggest and most important advantage. You could argue that he still has a metal lead, but this is not going to last for long, because as you can see, Zaits is claiming more and more metal. He's investing into air fabs. He has gotten all this metal at the rear, which Wretch is completely unaware of, as well as not rebuilding. If you lose metal, you obviously want to rebuild it very fast. So as you can see, Zaits finished his T2 way sooner than Wretch. What am I looking at? Is this a decaying T2 factory? Oh, okay. So I get this is kind of a misclick, I guess. So yeah, not much to say on this mistake. You kind of just have to pay attention a little more to what you're doing. But yeah, this is definitely very bad. Oof, lost a whole T2 factory. Yeah, you really have to understand how important the T2 timing is. Like at this point, Zaits has 4 slammers and 1 ghillie. This is enough to completely end the game. If you micro these slammers decently and just put them behind your T1 units, he could definitely kill all of these forces, and then this would all be dead. 2 factories down, a lot of energy, all of this metal. This factory would be dead as well. Basically, game over. But as I can see, I'm assuming Zaits decided to not push in, which is definitely a huge mistake. You can also see that you're completely floating on energy. This is probably because I'm assuming These huge lines of energy were meant to power the fabbers that would prepare the T2. First thing, you don't need nearly as much power for your T2 timing. Like once your fourth or fifth factory is completed, you want like 6 to 7 pigeons. Here you got 10 pigeons here plus 4 pigeons here. That's way too much energy. A lot of metal wasted. As you can see though, Wretch has managed to secure this position pretty well, building vehicle factories and managing to stack up a decent amount of forces. If he had done it right away when he reached this center, I can assure you the game would be over by now. But it's fine. Wretch is still in the run. By the way, the only thing that's keeping Red alive right now is the fact that Zaits decided to not push anything with his troops. So let's see what Zaits does with these units. He decides to go for the proxy instead, which in and of itself isn't really that bad. He just could have ended the game, but whatever. Got a locust run. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I kind of spoiled myself this game and saw that Zaits ended up losing. So far I have absolutely no idea how he managed to lose this game. Like, this is over. Wretch has only gotten his second T2 unit at 12 minutes. And Zaits is already building T2 econ. I guess Wretch's rating is keeping him in the game because he's destroyed a lot of metal. But yeah, the initial T2 push is extremely important. You can also see that Zaits is not control moving, which means that all the fast units will move at the pace of the slowest one, which is the Stinger. If he controlled move, he would have gotten from here to here in just a couple of seconds. And as I said, he would have been able to destroy all of this. What I'm assuming is gonna happen is that Wretch is gonna keep building vehicle factories, kind of autopiloting vehicle factories only, and he's just gonna silver push this whole lane and destroy everything with like a bunch of tanks and 2 or 3 slammers, which can definitely work. The only thing is, if all your game plan rests on stacking up vehicles, then you have zero map control with vehicles, unless you get like factories pretty much everywhere, which is what is happening right now. But it's only because Zaits is not doing this very obvious game-ending push. Like here, there's another one. He has enough stuff to just end the game, but he just doesn't do it. Also, the lack of radar vision is definitely playing a big role in this game on both sides. Zaits absolutely didn't see this T1 tank force coming in because he has nothing on the left side, and I guess Wretch just isn't updating his rallying points, which is definitely something very important. You wanna, once you reach a certain stage of the game, like when you have T2 and a bunch of factory, you wanna constantly update all of your rally points. You need to assign a shortcut to select all factories on screen like this, and you just update it all the time. Typically, if I would have managed to get this kind of rating, kind of circling around like this, I would instantly select all of my factories and rally them to the other side to prepare another attack on the opposite side, because if I start moving away with my units, he's going to try to respond and he's gonna drag all of his army to that direction. So you want to definitely constantly adjust your factories. If you spot an attack that is coming, you see this with a radar or a scout, you instantly switch back your rally points so that by the time they reach you, you have some new units that are here waiting and some new that are coming. So here, once again, I don't honestly, I don't understand how you don't die here. 4 slammers, and they're absolutely in range of the commander. You just have to, if Zaits had just right-clicked you and pulled back his slammers to keep them permanently at maximum range, you would have been just completely dead. I guess he just didn't pay attention at the right time and lost all of his units to a Uber cannon, but this was definitely the 3rd time you should have lost the game. On the other hand, this is extremely good. Instead of simply throwing all of your units inside his base. You're circling around, allowing your units to rally to form a new army, as well as moving away from Zaits' factories, which constantly produce new units. So this is the kind of maneuver you want to have at this stage, at this post T2 stage of the game. This is very good. And here comes the silver push, I guess. Yeah, Wretch just threw all of his units inside Zait's base, and yeah, this is GG. So what really saved Wretch here is Zaits definitely not pushing in, and also the fact that he was very, very slow at re-expanding and didn't punish Wretch's re-expansions. Like, he had a lot of units sitting there doing nothing while they could have blocked all of this. So even though Wretch won this game, there's definitely a lot of mistakes that have happened and a lot of things that he should learn from this game. First thing is, the T2 timing is very, very important, and it definitely wasn't it on this game. Like, apart from letting his T2 completely decay away, his timing was already fucked up from the get-go. So, to say it again, the classic build you want to do on 90% of maps is bot air vehicle, get like 7 pigeons, 5 vehicle fabs, and immediately start producing your T2 and boosting it right after this. So first thing, T2 timing. Second thing, proxies and rally points. In the early game, bots are incredibly strong, not only offensively because they can go pressure pretty much anywhere on the map relatively fast, but also because they have much higher producing pace, which means they will start setting up defenses much faster than vehicle. Vehicle needs time to stack up. And obviously, as I mentioned it, rallying points also should be in communication with your expansion route. If you're going for a very aggressive opening build, you want to have all of your factories rallied at the same side of the map, and you want to keep expanding in this same side as well. If you want to expand at 2 sides simultaneously, you need to split up your factories and the new units that are coming out of it. Alright, so that's it for this game. I hope you guys learned something. Please do send me some other replays on Discord. I am very much looking forward to making more of these videos so that you guys can start climbing the rank ladder and becoming the next generation of EA superstars. So yeah, bye!